CEO of BioViva Sciences, Liz Parrish.
Thank you for everyone staying in here for so long. I know that it's been a really long day, but I hope that I'm going to tell you a lot of things that are really going to get you excited. And so it's worth sticking around for. So my company is BioViva, and I'm incredibly proud of this company. It's really my third child. And just this month, we won, we got top honors of top 10 most innovative gene therapy companies in the world. Yeah, so in order to deliver on the mission of innovative care, we had to do a lot of things in the last 4 years. It's taken time and it's been a long and winding road. And what we needed to do is come up with a lot of different partnerships. And so we did. One of the partnerships we have is with Rutgers University, where we're doing research and development. And another one we have is the most important one, I think, in the world today, and it's with integrative health systems. It is actually giving patients access to technology today that you can't get anywhere else. It's the first company in the world to offer consensual use of gene therapy. What are we treating? We're treating the hallmarks of aging. So there's 10 cellular targets that we're actually going after in the human cell that are the cause of aging. They're the reason that you get sick, and if you want to see them actually pinned down to the diseases that they're associated with, you can see that right here. These 4 diseases kill 80% of the population in industrialized countries. And by the year 2050, they will be the biggest killers on the planet. Our modality is gene therapy. Anyone who knows me as the woman who wants to genetically engineer you. I want to solve the problem at the core root value of the cell. My son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 2013, and I started looking for cures for kids. I had been donating my time for 2 years working for the advocacy of the use of stem cells, and I knew that the difference between the stem cell and the rest of the cells in the body were the genes. And so I thought that potentially we could find cures for kids by looking at genes. And gene therapy is the most advanced technology that we have right now. Right here you're seeing a viral vector that has basically had the ability to get you sick taken out of it. It's had a human gene put into it, something that's a therapeutic gene. It goes into the cell and it starts coding for a protein, and that changes you. Most gene therapies are given by IV, so it's a very simplistic process. You come in for a couple hours and you take an IV drip. We do have patients that get organ-specific gene therapies, and that's a little bit more invasive. You need to go under an anesthetic and have a catheter put into your femoral artery, and then it's delivered directly to your organs. But it's an amazing technology, and if you wonder if gene therapy is working, these are the 5 past cures through the regulatory service. Gene therapy works. And as a matter of fact, it's one treatment right now for a lifelong cure. Now, over the next few decades, we'll find out if that's true, if these patients need to be retreated, but these are the gene therapies, the 5 gene therapies that are passed through the regulatory service. But you might see here that there is one problem to these therapeutics, and that is the cost. Right now, the last gene therapy to come through is for spinal muscular atrophy, and children who are born with this disease die within about 6 weeks, and it's considered the most expensive drug on the planet. And this does not need to be the case. So how are we going to change that? We're going to change it by scale. Our company has already significantly reduced the cost of gene therapy to patients, and we do that by scale. We get more and more people coming in, we buy larger amounts of therapeutic, and we get it to people at a lower cost. Yeah! Okay, and so right now, what do we have? Our offerings through integrative health systems are Alzheimer's telomerase trial. That's one of them. We also do follistatin, which increases your muscle mass, and this is a fantastic therapy. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a minute. We offer clotho for kidney regeneration, And we also offer whole body treatments. And in that case, we might use 1, 2, or 3 gene therapies now. We have been funded by Maximum Life Foundation, and right now we already have some patients enrolled, but we're offering a telomerase gene therapy for early to mild Alzheimer's for free.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is actually, BioViva itself, we put in a couple $100,000 per patient, and Maximum Life Foundation is covering the rest of it. And this is an incredible opportunity. So if you know somebody who has Alzheimer's, please send them to talk to Integrative Health Systems and have them get signed up. Telomerase, we're going to go through these really quick. I know that everyone's been hearing about lengthening your telomeres today. I took the telomerase-inducing gene therapy in 2015, and a few years later, this is why we opened up to business. I feel that this technology is safe and effective and ready to use in humans. This is what the enzyme looks like. It has a myriad of health benefits to patients, and it targets several of the hallmarks of aging, and that's what you need to know. Put in simplistic terms of the 10 things that are happening at the cellular level that are making you grow old. It targets the most out of any gene therapy that we've ever seen. Follistatin, this is for muscle enhancement. On the left here, you see this boy has muscular dystrophy. He's having a really hard time climbing the stairs. This is the same boy 3 months after follistatin gene therapy. Yeah!
Yeah!
That's right! And that is for the rest of his life. This is Clotho.
They're very good friends.
Clotho is a regenerative gene. It's associated with the protection against chronic kidney disease, cardiovascular disease, and it's implicated in intelligence. And so this is a really great gene therapy, and actually one of our doctors absolutely favors this gene therapy over the other gene therapies for regenerative capabilities, and people are getting really, really excited about this gene. So you're going to hear more and more about this over time. This is PGC1 alpha. Okay, this is a really flat picture, but this gene is really cool. This gene actually helps restore mitochondrial function. Telomerase induction does that as well, by the way, but this restores mitochondrial function. It actually makes your cells create more mitochondria within the cell, and that upregulates energy. So this will be a great treatment for things like obesity. In mouse studies, the mice live longer, significantly longer than the control groups, but the thing that they found is they have a lot more activity and energy. And so this is a really great candidate for gene therapy, and we will not roll this out until later in 2020. Okay, I want to just end that really quick to tell you that I am no longer the only patient with a dual gene therapy. My minions of do-gooders are growing. We are developing an army of genetically engineered humans that want to live, and they want to be part of spearheading the cure for you. So if you could just give them a big hand, even though they may not be here. It's really beautiful when people come forward and they want to help create the future, and my hearts go out to them. My heart. I only have one so far, maybe I'll have a few in the future. Okay, so on the research and development side, what are we doing? We have an arrangement to work for several years with Rutgers University. And what we're doing is trying to create a delivery method for gene therapy that is actually bigger and better than what we have available now. We feel strongly that it's not going to be one therapy or one gene that's going to cure biological aging. So we need to get several genes into cells, and we actually want to know that each cell got several genes. We're working with George Church, who's the professor of genetics at Harvard University. And he has 45 candidates, and we're sort of splitting things up for gene therapies that you'll need to take that need to hit most of the cells in your body, meaning that the cells won't share the protein outside of the cell. Or the gene therapies that we only need to target maybe 100,000 cells because the gene therapy is actually shared into the blood. The protein is shared into the blood. So we're going to split up these gene therapies into our candidates and build this new delivery method that we just call bigger, better, and more versatile for keeping it in layman's terms. Why would we do that? Well, right now we look at one therapy to treat one disease, and it's really slowing down innovation. It's actually even worse than this. We look for a therapy that treats a symptom of one disease. We know that in order to eradicate disease, we need to treat aging, and that way we can actually treat all of the diseases of aging at one time with one treatment. And then we have immense amount of longevity. But our research, what is happening in our research? Well, we just got some data on our research. First of all, just to set the stage, what we did is we got wild type aged mice, okay? So these mice are about the approximate age of like 58 to 70 years old. So they're old mice to begin with, because that's the best model for treating aging. We've got a couple of provisional patents in, so we've already covered our bases here because we're looking at a couple different types of delivery method. And one is a delivery method to get it quickly to the brains of people with neurogenic disease. So we have one group of mice that's taking this innovative delivery method to get it to the brain, and we have another group of mice that is just getting it literally shot just into the torso. We're not even trying to hit a vein. What we're finding is kind of what we had hoped to find, is that right after transduction, we're getting transfection into all of these cells, and it's actually moving around in the body. But the most interesting thing is over time, I think we're about 75 days out from treatment, we're a little bit longer since I got this data, we're finding that the mice with the muscle enhancer are gaining weight. Just as we predicted, they are gaining muscle mass. The mice that are treated with telomerase induction, they're actually slightly lighter than the aged regular cohort that didn't get the viral vector, but they're keeping their hair. So they're actually keeping a younger appearance than the other mice. So this is really cool, and we will follow this as the study goes on. It will go on for months and months. I'm a vegetarian, and just so you know, these mice are not going to be sacrificed at any point. This is literally a longevity study. They get to live as long as they want. And as long as they can, and of course we're making sure that they're healthy and active and everything else. So that's our really exciting research, and it has a long ways to go, but we're really proud that we're seeing what we expected to see, and the next stage of it is actually to combine a whole bunch of genes and deliver them, making sure that we can get proper gene expression of many genes in your body at the same time, because that would be the type of therapeutic we'd want for the future. So what is BioViva doing? We've got all these groups doing all sorts of things for us. Well, we are doing data science. So in order to meet our goal as a company and actually get patients access to technology, we had to pivot. The road to success is a very winding road. But the most thing that we could do, the most important thing that we could do, is actually show evidence of how well these therapies are working. So you have to realize now I think we're the only company in the world that has multiple people, the data from multiple people who have taken regenerative gene therapies. And that is really cool, and so we're really super proud of that. And so what we did is we decided to build a multi-omics platform. And this is a way that everyone can get involved. So whether you want to take a gene therapy or not, we have built a platform where you can sign in and you can actually put all of your health data to help us cure biological aging. So you can bring us your blood work, your telomere tests, your DNA, maybe you've had your microbiome run. You can actually type in and give us what your envirome and your physiome is, and that's going to help us cure biological aging. What we need is data. And we can then also see how our patients on gene therapy are performing against other cohorts. So bring us your biohackers, bring us your people with health problems, everyone. We're gonna get the data in there and we're gonna find out what's happening, because this is how we're going to innovate the technology for you. On our side, all our bioinformaticians see is anonymized data. We don't know your name. We know a lot about you. We know a lot of personal information about you, but we're not, we don't know your name. We're not going to call you up and say, oh, hey, you've got this problem. But what we are going to do is analyze your data and give you a lot of feedback and give you ideas of things that you might be able to do to improve your health. Mostly what we're looking at is a long-run game of creating better therapeutics faster for the future. This has taken us a long time to build because it had to be HIPAA compliant, it has to be GDPR compliant, and it's actually specially encrypted in order to secure your data so that you feel safe sharing it with us. In order to add some sort of value, in case you don't have many kits run, you don't have your DNA run or anything like that, we are offering a methylation kit. And this kit is going to be tested against several clocks. So we've already talked to Steve Horvath, and there's other clocks that we're going to use to really analyze what your aging data means. And we're going to offer a subscription for this so that you might be able to get this several times a year. So in case you're doing some sort of intervention, you're doing some diet, some exercise, some biohacking of your own, or you're participating in our gene therapies, all of our patients get these kits. You can see how well you're performing. So I just want to remind you, this is like our triangle, our golden triangle of how to create innovative care. It's research and development at Rutgers University. It's my baby BioViva, and it's Integrative Health Systems. Integrative Health Systems is now a network of 7 doctors that are exclusive to our network, and it's growing all the time. There are a lot of doctors out there that want to do really amazing things for their patients because they're tired of seeing their patients die. Thank you.
We have a little bit of time for Q&A. I want to take advantage of that.
Sure.
So exciting to hear the pace of movement. Yeah, the pace of bringing things to, it makes such a difference, even just to the psychology of what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that we're not sort of waiting sometimes feels like dying, right?
Yeah, we're not waiting. We do not wait.
Super. Here's a question. Is there a possibility for gene therapy for autoimmune issues like Crohn's and RA?
Well, this is actually really interesting. I was part of a paper that is being published in a couple of months from now that is all about autoimmune disease and the potential therapeutic benefit that we can do with gene therapy. And so those type of therapies are in the works, but anything that BioViva actually translates to humans has to have a meta-analysis. It needs to be reproducible. We need to see that more than one lab actually created it. And in that paper that I was just discussing with you, that's actually still new research, basic level information. There are different ways around autoimmune disease. For instance, with type 1 diabetes, we're looking at the knockout of a specific gene in endothelial cells that can make the cells create insulin. But again, those are still really basic research. So you should contact my company, BioViva, and ask, and we'll actually have a research give you a good answer instead of the one I just gave you.
So you think long-term there's a relevance?
Long-term, there are all sorts of things that we're going to be able to do with genetics.
Someone wants to know how they can become one of your minions.
Well, in order to become one of my minions, I may or may not ever know who you are. You can always let me know if you want to. But you go to Integrative Health Systems and you talk to a doctor. So integrative-health-systems.com, you can sign up for a consultation with a doctor. It's really inexpensive considering that you're talking to very few doctors in the world that actually will do these innovative gene therapies. And they'll sort of guide you through the process. Look at all of your medical data that we ask for initially, and so they understand your size, height, weight, and your physical condition and what sort of medical ailments you might have and want to treat. So it's best to talk to them.
Do you feel that gene therapy could soon provide benefit to a younger person without underlying issues?
Yeah, well, I think
Can you improve some of my genes to better the natural levels?
I think that in the future, hopefully the nearer future, based on the data that we get, we'll be giving these gene therapies younger and younger. Right now, for safety reasons, we generally give them out of childbearing years, and there's a certain cohorts and certain outline, although we do believe in the autonomy and agency of each human, so you can consent to a therapy, and if the doctor agrees to give it to you, you can take it. But in the future, gene therapies will be given like immunizations. They will be given long before you're suffering from aging disease.
Okay. Everybody seems to be going after the data. Will VIA data be shared with BioViva?
Yeah, so since the VIA data is your data, if you came to BioViva for a gene therapy, you would give us all of that data that you have. If you don't have that data, much of that data we actually send out to you in kits. You might already have some of that data from your doctors. And then, of course, there's the post work that actually goes on for years and years, and you're going to be so tired of us, but you're going to be pioneering medicine. So BioViva is going to literally follow you for years.
Can you share any biomarker information or general benefits from the gene therapy you've experienced?
I don't have my slides right now, but my biomarkers and my blood work continues to be really good. So in 2015, I did 2 gene therapies. I did the telomerase inducer and I did the myostatin inhibitor. And some of the things that we saw were, for instance, a 50% reduction in triglycerides. We saw a reduction in my blood glucose levels, a reduction in my A1Cs. We saw increased muscle mass and decreased white fat, probably from increasing my muscle mass. And we saw lengthening of telomeres. Last year was the last time I did my telomere test, and they had lengthened by approximately 33 years in my T lymphocytes. So, yeah, so it was really exciting. And as far as the patient data, our repository, it actually opens in November, and so that's when we're actually legally able to access patient data because we'll have a HIPAA compliant service, and hopefully next year I will be able to show you some data. I know already that we've had reduction in A1Cs and blood glucose level. But as far as like showing you graphs and showing you how many people, and so not everybody took the same gene therapy I took. Some people took the dual gene therapy. Several people actually have already. Some people just take telomerase. Some people just want clothone. Some people just want to increase their muscle mass. So you don't have to take the same therapy that I did.
So there's a question about your biological age.
That's really complicated, actually. Yeah. So I'm doing our specific DNA methylation test, and I will let you guys know how that comes out. But as far as my biological age, my cells are probably kind of chimeric. There probably some cells have lengthened telomeres, and some cells don't, because we do have a targeting issue with gene therapy. It's hard to hit every cell in the body, but we're working on that. And so how biologically old am I? Well, my T lymphocytes are pretty damn young. But, you know, it's a whole systems analysis, and I feel great, and all of my blood work is really excellent. But as far as accurate biomarkers of aging, the methylation clock is the closest thing we have.
So you feel great. Would you say you feel younger?
You know, I'm so stuck in my body. I feel unlimited, and I feel like my future trajectory is just going to get better. I know that I feel better than before. took the gene therapies because I don't have the old kidney pain and I don't have the limitations that I was getting over time of losing muscle mass. So I'll be 49 this in January, and I mean, I just feel awesome. And I'm looking forward to doing the clotho gene therapy too. So I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep going.
Super, good to hear. Can you talk a little bit about cost of treatments?
I can talk a little bit about it, but because we're BioViva, we're not really able to super advertise what our other company does. So you really need to talk about that to them, because remember, gene therapy, well, you may not know this, but gene therapy is given by body weight. So the amount of gene therapy that's right for you may cost a certain amount that's different than anything that I could quote. But we have gotten the cost down significantly. So for instance, if we were to treat one kidney now, it will sound expensive, but we could do that for about, I think, $75,000, or they could. We don't do that. And whole body telomerase, like if you did the exact same therapy that I got, it's, I think, under $300,000. And I know that's going to kill you. You're going to say, oh my God, that's really expensive. But that therapy, when I did it, was well over $1 million.
So already there's a
yeah. And how do we change that? We're going to do it by scale. So today, if we have one patient, it could cost somewhere around hundreds of thousands of dollars. If tomorrow we have 10, it's going to be reduced significantly. If we have 1,000, now we're getting into the cost that you might pay for stem cells or a decent car.
So that really defeats the argument that this is sort of just an indulgence for
it is not an indulgence.
The wealthiest people, because really that just leads to the economy of scale.
No, it's just an economy of scale. And we can do it, and we're already talking to people who can make gene therapy at human grade like we get for less money.
Fantastic. I think that's a great note to end it on. Thank you, Liz Parrish.
Thanks for staying so late.
Thanks for great news.